I'm Soledad O'Brien. Welcome to Matter of Fact. The world has battled massive disinformation campaigns before. In 1939, it was Adolf Hitler manipulating a message to gain support for the German army's invasion of Poland. Now it's a war in Ukraine, with the groundwork for Russia's invasion relying, in part, on a flood of Kremlin-sponsored disinformation. But there's also a flood of misinformation being posted by people on social media, sharing images out of context. So what will it take to mount a defense against the great disinformation campaign? Emily Bell is the founding director of the Tow Center for Digital Journalism at Columbia Journalism School. Emily Bell, always nice to see you. It's been now more than a week since Russia invaded Ukraine, and we've already seen many examples of both misinformation and disinformation.
There are things that I would call misinformation, which is just stuff that's wrong on the internet. And then the disinformation is the intentional, what we might have called propaganda in the past. And I think we should probably start calling it propaganda again. You've had a narrative on, say, RT, which is a Kremlin-sponsored channel. It's very active on social media. It's been restricted by the European Union this week. And quite a lot of the talk shows there discuss things like Western aggression. Why is NATO pushing for a war in Ukraine? It's framed in a completely different way to the way that American and European media is framing this. And it's had that background of saying, Ukraine is not a happy country. We need to go in and we need to help them. And this has happened over a long period of time in different ways.
I was reading this morning about Russian soldiers who believed that they would be greeted by Ukrainians because they were told propaganda that the Ukrainians needed to be liberated. And those narratives are not just stories that don't have impact.
Well, so one reason it matters in this conflict is very clear, which is there's conscription in Ukraine. The president is asking anybody between the ages of, I think, 18 and 60 to sign up. And military in any country, on any side, responds to a mission and a narrative. And this is where it's interesting that we're seeing video of Russian soldiers apparently unprepared for the reception that they're getting in Ukraine. And that's a really helpful overall narrative for Ukraine to be advancing. It could be true, but we don't really know.
That narrative also moves other countries to react, whether it is with sanctions, whether it is with deciding they're going to block their airspace, et cetera, et cetera. So it doesn't just exist in a vacuum. How do you make sure that you're being responsible and not propagating misinformation that just is wrong or disinformation that's intentionally misleading?
Make sure that you are paying attention to a range of credible news outlets. When you are tempted to share anything, you must sift, which is stop, investigate, find, trace. So in other words, you might be sharing what seems to be a very moving piece of video of prisoners of war. You shouldn't be identifying their faces. There's facial recognition technology out there. Posting a photo, if you're on the ground in Ukraine, posting a photo of crowds gathering is now a security risk. Those things can be geolocated in a second. You don't want to do yourself or anybody else any harm.
Emily Bell, always nice to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Soledad. Great to see you.